Hulu's historical crime drama Dope Girls is set in the chaotic years right after World War I, where London was trying to rebuild itself, but was also drowning in new problems, especially with drugs, crime, and inequality. The show focuses on a fictional woman named Kate Galloway who opens a nightclub in Soho, hoping to rise above poverty and secure a better future for her daughters. But her dreams quickly get tangled up with the law and the local gangsters. As she tries to navigate a dangerous world, she finds herself fighting not just for her business, but for survival itself. The show's storyline may be fictional, but it draws a lot of inspiration from real life events and people. The creators, Polly Stenham and Alex Warren, were inspired by the book Dope Girls, see The Birth of the British Drug Underground by Meyrick. Though they used the book as a foundation, they also built on it using historical police records, newspaper stories, and personal accounts from the time. Through this mix of fact and fiction, they created a gritty, fast-paced drama that captures the underground world of 1920s London. The character of Kate Galloway is heavily based on a real woman named Kate Meyrick. She was an Irish woman who became one of the most talked about and controversial figures in London during the 1920s. Like in the show, the real Kate was a single mother. She had 8 children and was facing serious financial troubles after separating from her husband in 1918. With no real way to support her family, she took a risk and opened a nightclub in Leicester Square. This move would change her life and also make her a target of both the police and the press. Kate Meyrick ran several nightclubs over the years, the most famous being the 43 Club on Gerrard Street. These were not just any clubs. They were places where people from all walks of life came to party, dance, and often indulge in illegal activities. The clubs attracted everyone from gangsters and members of the IRA to celebrities from Hollywood, like Rudolph Valentino and Tallulah Bankhead. Despite multiple police raids and being arrested several times, Kate managed to keep bouncing back. She opened new clubs again and again until she passed away in 1933 at the age of 57. Her life was one of rebellion, ambition, and constant struggle. She fought against a system that didn't want women like her to succeed, and in doing so, she became something of a legend. She was even mentioned in literary works. The novelist Evelyn Waugh used her as inspiration for a character in his 1945 novel Brideshead Revisited. Her story fits perfectly into the theme of Dope Girls, which is all about resilience, the fight for freedom, and the strength of women in an unfair world. Another major character in Dope Girls is Billie Cassidy, who was inspired by the real-life actress Billie Carleton. Born Florence Leonora Stewart, Billie Carleton became famous in London's theatre world. She was known as one of the youngest leading ladies on the West End stage and had a bright future ahead of her. But tragedy struck in 1918, shortly after the end of World War II. After attending a glamorous victory ball at the Royal Albert Hall, Billie was found dead the next day in her apartment. She was only 22. A coroner later ruled that she died from a cocaine overdose. It was revealed that the drugs had been given to her by a friend, Reggie DeVille, who later admitted guilt. Billie's death shocked the public and exposed the growing drug problem in London's high society. The newspapers went wild with stories of drugs, alcohol, and partying. People were both fascinated and horrified. Billie became the symbol of a new, wild generation, one that was trying to escape the horrors of war through pleasure and rebellion. In Dope Girls, Billie Cassidy is portrayed by Umi Myers, who said in interviews that the character represents the emotional gray areas that many women lived in during that time. These weren't women who were purely good or evil. They were just trying to survive in a world that was stacked against them. Billie's story, both in the show and in real life, is about the pressure to be perfect while also wanting freedom and the danger that comes with living on the edge. The show also features a character named Eddie Cobb, who draws inspiration from a real figure named Edgar Manning. He was a jazz musician known not only for his music, but for being involved in London's underground drug trade. Newspapers at the time labeled him the Dope King, and he was frequently arrested for various crimes, including drug dealing and even car theft. He was eventually sentenced to 3 years in prison in 1929, but his name stayed in the headlines. In Dope Girls, Michael Duke plays Eddie Cobb as a complex, queer character who challenges the gender and racial norms of the time, while also being involved in the dark world of narcotics. One of the most powerful things about Dope Girls is how it explores the lives of women during a time when they had very few rights or opportunities. Executive producer Jane Tranter said that one of the goals of the show was to shine a light on how hard it was for women in 1920s London. The character of Violet Davies, played by Eliza Scanlon, is a young police officer, one of the first female officers in the city. She goes undercover as a sex worker to infiltrate the criminal world and help rescue women from exploitation. Her story shows just how complicated it was to be a woman in law enforcement during a time when power and respect were mostly reserved for men. Violet's storyline is not just about crime, it's also about identity. She has her own secrets and past mistakes, and the show does a great job showing how she deals with those while trying to make a difference. It's this kind of layered storytelling that gives Dope Girls its emotional punch. It's not just about gangsters and drugs. It's about real people trying to find their place in a changing world. The show also takes a close look at London's queer community at the time. Eddie Cobb, as a queer black man, is constantly navigating a world that tries to silence him, but he refuses to be hidden. Michael Duke, the actor who plays him, has said that Eddie's story is about freedom. Freedom from shame, freedom from expectations, and freedom to love and live on your own terms. His character stands as a powerful reminder of how much bravery took to live openly in a time full of judgment and fear. Another major theme in the show is hedonism, the idea of living for pleasure. After the horrors of World War I, many people in London just wanted to forget their pain and feel good again. Nightclubs became places where people could dance, drink, and do drugs without thinking about the consequences. But that pursuit of pleasure came with a cost. The city was still struggling with poverty, inequality, and trauma, and all of that was hiding underneath the glitter and music. Dope Girls shows how pleasure and pain often went hand in hand during that wild era. Ultimately, Dope Girls is more than just a crime drama. It's a story about power, resilience, and the human desire to be free. Kate Meyrick's real-life story of turning desperation into influence is at the heart of the show, and her spirit lives on through the character of Kate Galloway. The stories of Billie Carleton and Edgar Manning also remind us how history often forgets the people who lived on the edge, people who dared to break the rules and create new paths, even when the cost was high. The show may be set 100 years ago, but its themes of female empowerment, addiction, and personal freedom are still incredibly relevant today. Through its powerful characters and gritty storytelling, Dope Girls invites us to look back at a forgotten part of history and think about how far we've come and how much we still need to fight for.